Isn't this just such a wonderful time in VTubing where you can't go 5 minutes without somebody losing their marbles over something or some sort of drama or fight, anything? But today, I guess I'm a little late to the party by a couple of days, but I can give it a gander. We'll give it a look. And by give it a look, I mean, I already know my stance. I should know everything there is already enough to know. I've already figured out what the fuck is going on. I have figured out what is truly the occurrence that has plagued VTubing. Oof, isn't this just the absolute peak of VTuber? So what are we talking about today? If you've been living under a rock, or I don't know, maybe the rock lives in you or something along those lines, you may have missed some very sneaky little drama with Zentraya. Just a little itty bitty bit, little small little bit of drama. And boy, did I think going through the Cinder stuff, the Shoujo stuff, the Nux Taku stuff, did I think we were getting to a point where we were picking fights over ants and crumbs on the playground? Boy, we've gotten better. So for those of you who may have lived under the rock, or may have completely missed the last 2 days of the internet involving Zentraya, and maybe you're a fan of Zentraya. Well, Zentraya has been in a bit of a situation involving a recent background of hers, specifically being comparisons to Nazis. Which, to me, a regular human being with, I would like to say, a clump of brain cells, not a lot, maybe 2 to 5, not a ton, but enough brain cells to make my own conclusions and draw my own ideas and perspectives. Read a history book or two, looking at a couple of images, not a little bit of general base research. Here we are. Look at this, guys. Oh boy, this is just gonna be me insulting people. I'm gonna be entirely honest. I don't even see it. It's not even close. So originally, and this started with a loading background where people kind of got this Nazi vibe, I guess, if that's even what we want to call this, Nazi vibe. Yes, Germany. Oh, fuck me. Why is this a thing? Okay. Well, all right. So it starts off with a loading screen to give some context here. It starts off with a loading screen and people's concerns that Zentraya is a Nazi. All right. Immediately, this doesn't even bring question. This doesn't bring information. This doesn't bring this or that and this and that and there. Nobody says, well, what if it's not Nazi? Nobody asks the fucking easy questions. Nobody looks at the multiple choice question here and goes, reasonable option C, or maybe reasonable option D. Instead, we go, I'm gonna jump straight to the conclusion. We skipped the entire test. Zentraya's a Nazi. again, again, I reiterated this with multiple times with the Cinder video. I do not watch these large VTubers. I am unbiased. I don't even, I think I have the 300 channel points from following Zentraya, and that's it. I have 300 points from following Zentraya, 300 points from following Iron Mouse, 300 points from following Cinder, 300. Actually, you know what? I probably have like 500 channel points for watching Project Melody, but that is different. And even then, that's not a lot of channel points. I like 300 points for following GB Doki. I don't watch these people. I have no attachment to these people at all. These VTubers I am not defending because, oh, I like them, they're funny. I'm not defending them because I've watched their content, I've indulged in their content. For the first time in like 2 years, it was actually yesterday. I guess my algorithm or my phone or something on my Wi-Fi network heard me talking about the Zentraya shit during yesterday's stream. And for the first time in years, I have been suggested a Zentraya short to watch on my YouTube channel. That's it. That's it. I have no attachment to these people. I look at these situations for what they are. And Nazi. Yes, Nazi. This is Nazism. Okay. So I'll be blunt and straightforward on this. I hold more position with Zentraya in this situation. And people may even be like, wow, I don't like the way she backlashed. I'm okay with it. I do not care. So let me read out some context for you guys. So our handy dandy friends at Twitter, Grok, has has decided that they want to give us a breakdown. The outfit drew comparisons to SS uniforms from some corners. Those Zentraya stressed it echoed her longtime no lewd army VR chat character with no political intent. She apologized for her initial heated words like woke snowflakes. Honestly, should have doubled down in my opinion. Especially rejected Nazism and noted a red armband was removed in production. Her VTuber peer and sponsor Vite Ramen rallied in support. Honestly, I think I owned some Vite Ramen like chopsticks at one point. They're kind of good. Calling the claims overblown amid anime's common use of such designs. By December 1st, she moved forward with streams, highlighting sensitivities around militaristic aesthetics in online spaces. So, sorry for the sniffles. It's a little chilly now. Winter's coming around. So, do I care that she called people woke snowflakes? No. Do I think the response is fair if that's what she said? Yes. If Grok is right, yes. Because she makes a point. This is very stupid. And in reply, I think not wanting to be labeled a Nazi immediately out of the gate would get anyone heated. I've already put my apology about how I went about talking the other day today. But jumping on board the hate train without even stopping and questioning it shows who you really are. Again, I will say this many a times, hundreds of times. Yes, I 110% believe that this reaction is entirely fair and is justified in every act. If you got vilified via called a Nazi, a hinted or even slightly called a Nazi for something of this sort, you know, being called an absolute scum or a stain on history, especially in German history, yes, Getting heated would be a very, very correct response. And, sometimes people say, oh, you don't have to reply very angrily to everything. You don't have to be mad. Sometimes you need to take it with a thought, or you need to step down for a second and you need to look and smell the roses, right? Sometimes you need to push back, right? Sometimes you need to understand that when people say shit like this, you need to nip it in the bud as fast as possible. And getting an honest... And here's the thing, getting mad about being called a Nazi, being defensive about it, should justify more your hate for Nazis than it does for somehow saying you're a Nazi. So I'm gonna be tired of the word Nazi after all this. So she has a series of responses, and I'm not gonna go through every single one of them. It's whatever. She defended herself, and that is fine. I find it hilarious how I called you out on wanting nothing but clout by farming the situation, and even going as far as clipping the few seconds and not then after, where I even apologized for my usage and lack of education with the political landscape. And I was right. Looking at your post, you're just farming this. Even after I did apologize the next day and you stated, I'll clear things out, you keep stuff up just so you can gain that little visibility. Fuck off. Yes, she's heated. What a shocker, guys. Are we surprised by this? Are we surprised by this? By this response? She's heated. That's fine. What's the problem? You got called a Nazi. You're gonna get heated. That's how things work. There's no reason that people need to be like, wow, she got so mad. It's like, yes, we are still humans behind the screen. Idols or not. I'm actually following Zentraya, surprised. Idols or not, we are still human. Being called something like a Nazi should incite emotion, should incite anger. It really, really should. For a good reason. For a good reason. Now, obviously, my opinion comes from the idea of you've got to look at things for what they are. And you can't go putting fucking labels like Nazi on anybody you fucking feel like. That's not how things work. And honestly, the people who got offended by this are the same fucking idiots who've never watched or even participated in history class. Watched a single historic video, maybe listened to a funny mustache man's speeches on YouTube, so that you can have a better grasping and understanding of the situation. Or maybe read a little bit, anything. You can read and watch and listen. It's a fucking audio book at this point to understand what it even was like back then, before you even fucking come together with this conclusion that somebody's a Nazi. Now, people who are going to be saying, well, it does have long time, or it has the look. Right. It has comparisons to SS uniforms. Sure. But does nobody take into consideration that when we looked at these political powers in history, a lot of them looked the fucking same because they're called dictators and fascists? They all followed the same ideas. So yes, there's gonna be similarities, but just because you wear a brown uniform does not mean you are a Nazi. For example, Exhibit A. Ooh. Do you know what's crazy about this? You know what's crazy about this? This is Warhammer. For those of you who don't know, this is Warhammer. Crazy, right? And let's look at some similarities here. Let's actually pay attention to certain details here. See, we got a little bit of the floofy and the tassels. We got, you know, the skull with the wings, the common Warhammer like imagery. When you see Warhammer, that's what you see. You know, yeah, we see it. Does this scream Nazi? No. But we can't go beyond that. We can't proceed beyond how VTubers can understand and don't see Nazism as how it is. So this is where we sit, where we have a VTuber who steals literally the ideas from Warhammer. Literally can see it. Oops. Hi, Tanya. Well, you can see it from here. Similarities between one or the other, but one means Nazi, one does not. Whether or not you have this look doesn't require the backlash that comes from being, I don't know, a fucking idol. Somebody who stands in a position that has popularity. Only reason people jump to the Nazi conclusion is simply because Zentraya is an idol. She's one of the biggest VTubers out there. And in comparison to the rest of, I don't know, media or anything of the idea from that era, or any of the anime war segments, something that is commonly used, doesn't mean you're a fucking Nazi. You fuckers need to get your thumb out your ass, because holy shit, this is ridiculous. I can't believe this is something we even have to fucking talk about. Stupid. Absolutely dumb. So, after attaching this to the previous recording, I do realize there is something I kind of wanted to say in terms of this. When it comes to art, right? I'm making the thumbnail for this video as we speak. When it comes to art, they do say that it's in the eyes of the beholder, right? And sure, you can find art in many different ways. You can ask somebody else something else, and maybe they'll interpret an image different than you, or so on and so forth. But sometimes that's not the true meaning. Sometimes when you're doing shit like this and you are projecting your ideals or ideology or whatever the fuck it is that you think something might be onto something, doesn't mean that it's that thing. Doesn't mean that just because you thought about that doesn't mean that it is that. That's not how things work. That's not how stuff, that's not how real life works. Whether or not you think her outfit looks like a Nazi, whether or not you think 40K is Nazi, whether or not you think you think Tanya from Saga of Tanya the Evil is a Nazi, from whatever you think, doesn't mean that it's true. And maybe you need maybe if you think that's true, maybe you need to step back, get off the internet for a couple of days, and realize that the stance that you're taking, the perspective you're in, is wrong. And that you're a fool for maybe thinking this. Things have their meanings. Whether or not they mean the same thing to you doesn't change what its original meaning was in the first place. So, what I think y'all should take into consideration is that if you were on the side of, I guess if you're on the side of, oh, she's a Nazi, maybe you should take into consideration your own thoughts and perspectives. And maybe you should be less judgmental, more considerate. Because there's no reason for this drama to have even taken off. There's no reason for Zentraya to be in this position in the first place. And for you guys, those guys out there in the ether to make a statement on this and say that the things that they said, clout grab to continuously call somebody something so vile, is astonishing. And you should probably check yourself. And you're a fool. That's just the truth of it. But I do hope that if you saw it on Twitter and you were out of the loop, this video helped you get back in the loop. But until then, I also wanted to add, so we are still posting here. I don't really like to cover the small drama. There's not a lot there. I don't like constantly covering stupid little VTuber squabbles because 9 times out of 10, they're so-and-so said something or so-and-so cheated, and I don't care about that. So I will put the link in the description below. I do have a second channel where I post VODs and shorts. If you want to watch the shorts, you are more than welcome. If you want to watch the VODs, you're more than welcome. The link will be in the description below if you want to go pop in over there and give some love to that channel. I do post there more consistently with the VODs and stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Drop a like, a subscribe. Videos are a little slow to come on this channel, but I hope regardless you guys enjoy. I will see y'all again when I guess some more shit breaks out, or I find something else to talk about in regards to this Zentraya stuff. I will keep you guys up to date. So y'all have a good day. See y'all soon.